Hey everybody, welcome to Frannie Square. I am doing the update for the method that I showed yesterday for detangling and defrizzing heat-friendly synthetic wigs. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Frannie Square. I'm still having my coffee, but I wanted to get to you early to give you an update on the method that I shared yesterday for defrizzing and untangling heat-friendly synthetic wigs. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to put a link right here. You can go check that out. What I did was test a method that I found on YouTube for the purpose of repairing heat-friendly synthetic wigs and stopping them from tangling in the future. So I'm going to give you an update. I wore the wig yesterday, and I'm actually going to take it off and show it to you. We're going to look at it closely. Before that, I got some really great comments from our community, from people who are experienced with hair cutting and with wigs, and I wanted to share that information with you as well, because I'm on this journey of learning with you. I am certainly not an expert in hair cutting or in wig care. So I really want us to learn together so that we can have our wigs wear better and last longer. Okay, so let's first go to the comments from the community. Okay, I'm going to put the comments up on the screen so you can read them as I read them. The first one comes from Junebug1029. And she says, I'm a retired hairstylist and these are called thinning shears. This method just causes more problems because you're adding a lot of shorter pieces. If you want to thin a wig, section the hair and as close to the cap as you can without cutting the cap, make one cut and don't cut any more of that section. Section off more hair and repeat until you're happy with the volume. So I said, great to know. I'm going to share this with everyone. Will one cut near the cap stop the tangling at the bottom? Or is there really not much you can do to stop that? And she says, thinning the hair will make the hair thinner, so it might help with tangling, but the best solution is to treat the fibers according to the type of the fiber the wig is. Okay, so thank you, Junebug1029, for sending that. I really appreciate it. The next comment comes from Cassidy Coop Chats, and she says, that looks very good, but one downfall with this method, once it starts frizzing and tangling again, you don't have the regrowth to thin out like natural hair. My daughter, a trained and licensed cosmetologist, intentionally buys the most nasty, frizzed, tangled wigs she can find on the internet sales sites, then restores them. Think of the hair on a well-loved Barbie doll. Sometimes deconstructing and reweaving the hair. Once receding a wig, her method is to gently wash and then soak in 1 to 3 parts wig conditioner, filtered water for 6 to 8 hours. She then removes and rinses and lets dry with minimal combing. Once dry, it combs and styles easily. That's when she assesses the wig and decides whether or not to deconstruct and rebuild the wig. She has a long process, but she said to gently wash, soak, then rinse and air dry will restore most fibers for those of us who already take care of our wigs. So I said, wow, so interesting. How does she construct and reweave? I was really curious about this. Does she have special tools for that? I would love to see that done. I'm going to share this info with everyone. She said she takes her time, clips apart the wig, then restrands them. It is quite extensive and time-consuming, to be honest. She uses ultra-fine crochet thread needles and also needles without hooks to rethread the strands in super-fine elastic. Then resews those layers together with more super-fine elastic. On the tops, she threads and hand knots the hairs onto the caps, which she tries to avoid damaging during the deconstruct process. If the top lace is too damaged, she has to replace the lace and resew/reweave all the hair onto a new lace cap. If you've ever seen a hooked rug with yarn strands through rug backing cloth, you get the idea, but it's on a micro level with needles due to the fineness of the hair strand and tightness of the lace weaves. Super time consuming and intense work, as it's not her actual trade. She's a professional corporate photographer, just a hobby. It can be a very long time if she purchases one with damaged lace. Wow, that is really technical stuff, way beyond my skill level, but very interesting to hear that. The next comment comes from K.A. Perk. She says, nope, not doing that. I would consider this a last-ditch effort to make a wig last a few more weeks. Then it gets tossed. I extend the life of my HD fiber by wash, then soak in silicone mix for about an hour, then air dry after gentle detailing. Comb from the tips of the hair first and work your way up. Do not start from the top down. Gentle. Then air dry, then take sections, small sections, mist and flat iron until smooth. You can then choose to put in curl or not. I do this after about a week's worth of wear with small flat iron touch-ups in between. And I said, great, I'm going to share your technique. Does your heat-friendly wig get really tangled when you wear it? I find I need to comb it often when I'm wearing a longer wig. And I just sent that to her 2 hours ago, so I didn't get a response yet. Okay, and then finally, I have a comment from JF1 saying, I tried this method on a long regular synthetic. It did not work. Just made it look like it had broken hairs, which really goes back to what Junebug 1029 said. For heat friendly, in my experience, you have to use heat to keep the frizz down. On daily wears, I would need to use heat after about every 3 to 4 wears. I've not tried summer heat, but I did try a wig company wig that was regular synthetic. That thing was a hot mess after a week. Worst wig I ever purchased. I got it to last 2 weeks by steaming it, but totally not worth it. I emailed them and they were very nice, but did state the quality will not be the same as the more expensive brands I was used to. All the influencers rave about the wig for the cost, but they must not be wearing them daily. I said, very interesting. I definitely think there is a difference with the name brand wig fibers, which I'm really learning now. The more experienced I become, the better I am able to spot the difference. Thanks for sharing your experience. So that is really interesting because a lot of times when we review it as soon as we get it, but we haven't worn it days on end or, every day of the week. And when you have as many wigs as I have and probably many influencers have, you really don't wear most of them daily. The one wig that I do wear pretty much daily is Sunset by Ellen Villa, which has held up very well. And I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of the wig that I've been wearing I got it in October of last year through now. So however long that is, what month are we in? April, for about 6 to 7 months versus I just bought a new one. And I am planning on working with Ellen Villa too, so stay tuned for that. In any case, now let's take a look at the wig, and I'll tell you my experience wearing it yesterday. First of all, when I went to my sister's for lunch, everybody said it looked much more natural, and that's because it is thinned out, it's less dense, and also I always pull my own hair here, so they were seeing this hair coming right out of my head. My nephew, who always sees me in wigs, actually said to me, Aunt Fran, is that your actual hair? So that was pretty interesting. So I think making the wig less dense will make it look more natural. Now, after reading Junebug 1029's comment, I think I would only thin it by doing one cut very close to the cap. Now, as far as breakage and short hairs, I just want to show you this up close. What I noticed was when I did the cuts closer to the root but not next to the cap, I did get some hairs that just stick up. You see that? That is not a good technique. And at the time when I was doing it, I was thinking, well, I need to make it less dense near the root. Okay, if you're doing that, follow Junebug. Go close to the cap. Otherwise, you're going to end up with stuff like that. And this is why I do it for you first. Let me do the experiments on my wigs before you try anything. So hopefully I'm getting this update to you so that you can do it the best way possible. All right, as far as tangling went, way less tangling, I have to say, because it was less dense, and I also did thin out the nape. So what I did for that, let me just take this off. Okay, so what I did was I actually thinned some hairs in the nape here. And those, and maybe Junebug, 1029, or any of the others there could comment on this, those you don't see because they're on this back end. And I did thin it there, so it tangled way less. Now, was it tangle free? No, I had a few tangles, but they were very easy to comb through. But let's take a look. Let's see if we can see closely the broken hairs. I don't know if, I mean, it totally makes sense that you would have, you know, broken hairs because I'm cutting them in different spots. What do you think? I think the worst problem that I came across, honestly, is these. I don't know if you could see that, where I cut it semi-close to the cap, but not close enough. And I have these little hairs sticking up. I imagine, though, depending on how you cut it, you could see like short hairs in different spots. I'm not really seeing it on this one. Let me see the front here. There you go. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think it actually worked pretty well. But again, I would try the technique where you're just thinning from the top close to the cap. It seems the safest to me. Let me put this back on. And the other thing is, since I have been working with Tressalure and buying more name brand wigs, there's definitely a difference in the fiber. And there has to be, because in order to produce a wig that's less expensive, I mean, even the wig company told one of our subscribers, yeah, it's not going to be the same as a more expensive name brand wig. And that makes sense. But now if you can't afford the name brand wigs, I still think these look nice. Will they hold up as long? Will the fibers feel as nice? Probably not. So you have to weigh getting a name brand wig and having it last longer versus getting something less expensive and maybe having it not last quite as long. See, now I'm having these hairs in my face, and I bet that's due to my cutting. I didn't notice them yesterday because I kind of just put them out of my face, but I don't know if you can see this, but it's sticking right out there and it's short. So I probably did that to this wig. So lots of good information from our subscribers on how they care for the wigs, what things not to try. Keep the comments coming. I think that as a community, if we keep sharing what we learn, we're just going to get better and better at handling wigs. So in the end, what do I think of the process? Going forward, if I were to try something, number one, I would definitely try all the methods for soaking and washing and air drying and flat ironing, all of that stuff first. Now, I don't know that that stuff will help stop the tangling, but one thing I do want to try was the comment I read on the other video about using food grade cornstarch on the nape and on your neck. I'm going to give that a try. It doesn't seem like it's going to have any downside. And if any of you have tried it, let me know. Then, if I'm going to cut the wigs, I think what I would do, I would start as close to the cap as possible, one cut, and do it in sections and see what happens. Okay, that's my update. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any really good tips for making sure your wig doesn't tangle or for fixing the tangles and the frizzes, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments below. I'm sure everybody is interested. This is an issue that many wig wearers have. All right, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Remember to make it your own, and I'll see you soon.